It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, and Tom Griswold. And now, here's Tom.
Bob and Tom.
And who are we? We're in the big room. It's Ace Cosby, engineer. This is Tom speaking. That is Chick McGee across the way. Let's see now. Oh, he's at the sports desk, and then right there, it's Josh Arnold through the glass there, doing the proper social distancing. It's Christy Lee at the Navy Federal Credit Union news desk. Coming up on the phone, the track phone hotline, it'll be comedian Drew Hastings.
Oh, all
Talk
right.
with Drew. Also, we're going to talk with Mr. Skin, the authority on nudity and feature films on television.
Yeah. Sexpert.
So if you're
Yeah, there's one of those words, sexpert.
sexpert, what do they call those words? Like
Portmanteau?
portmanteau.
Is that what it is?
God, that sounds like a band from the 80s.
Yeah.
Elder Reserve, Portmanteau, opening for. There he is, Pat Godwin, about a mile away. Guitar out. Oh, sunlight shining through the double doors there.
Yeah, sun's
Looking
coming
good.
through.
Looking good. We got a song coming from Pat momentarily. Yes, where were we?
Stupid world record.
I love this guy.
Oh, Tom's excited about this one, Chick.
David Rush
Yes.
Who?
has broken yet another world record. Most tennis balls caught on a bucket worn on his head
Oh, before it was on his back, right?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
in 1 minute.
Yeah.
A bucket on his head.
With the help of the true record holder, Jonathan Hannon,
Doesn't he call him Healthy Hannon? Doesn't he have a nickname?
Rush bested the previous record of 79 by catching 98 tennis balls with a large bucket strapped on your head. Boy, you got a bucket on your head. Hannon threw about 123 balls in the time frame, leading to an 80% landing rate.
Can I tell you real quick? The Hannon has obviously a huge bin of tennis balls in front of him.
Obviously.
But he's using both hands. He's throwing lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, and I do think you have to give him a lot of credit because
Is he standing up?
It's got a lot to do with
he's kind of in a crouch position. But David is.
Is David on his knees? Is he standing up?
David's
What's he
got.
doing?
It looks like a. It's not really a bucket. It's not. It's more like a laundry basket.
Sure, it's going to have to be large.
And he's and David is kind of going left and right. And,
What?
What?
It's not even a bucket.
A bucket would be small and would be hard to do.
yeah,
But it wouldn't hold the record number.
But this is apparently the allowable size of the bucket. If this bucket were full of water, you wouldn't be able to pick it up.
All right.
So, but the fact that the bucket is
So
strapped to
some of
his
the
head
balls,
looks hilarious.
some of the balls are going in the quote bucket anyway, whether David Rush moves or not. Correct?
Yeah, David could just stand there, and if this guy were,
A good thrower.
but this is the
So
world
there's
record
no
shit.
difference between David Rush and a shelf at this point.
Right, that's right.
I think the better analogy would be a guy standing there holding one of those stop signs at a construction site where he could be replaced by a bucket of sand.
Yes, yeah.
But no, because David's kind of moving left, right, and jogging this way and that way just to try to catch some of the extra balls. I think it's fascinating. There's a video of this. David Rush has lots of records. The most balls on the chin record, of course. That's still held by porn star Jenna Jameson. Yes, and although very close recently, Chelsea Bush came very close to grabbing that record, most balls on the chin. I mean, sorry.
Oh, I don't know, Joe.
Wow. By the way, they're wearing sort of polo shirts with athletic shorts.
Sure.
Hollywood Hannon is this guy's name.
Oh, okay. The polo short with athletic shorts is known as, I think we can all agree, the gym teacher's tuxedo.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember that when you were a kid? Oh, he's got the.
Look at the size of that bucket.
That's not a bucket.
Is it like a wash pail?
Yeah,
Like a
You
wash
guys
tub?
aren't going to believe. You guys aren't. You're going to be outraged like I am.
That's not a bucket. That's a laundry basket.
That looks like a
That's
toy.
huge.
That looks like a toy chest.
It is wider than his shoulders.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
It looks like a very large planter.
Yeah.
We still couldn't get anywhere near the record.
No.
But still.
It's a wash
Your
tub.
point is that Hollywood Hannah, I thought they called him healthy. And by the way, he is wearing a face mask.
Right. That's why they don't call him
Yes.
healthy anymore.
Okay.
They
Thank
got
you
it.
very much.
They had to change it to Hollywood.
This is working for me. We're back. Thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, we got a weird gray blur coming off the off the left field fence. I'll find out what the hell that is in a second. Let's see now. In left field, it's Ace Cosby. This is your catcher speaking. I'm Tom. Ace is our engineer, of course. Way out there in center, it's Chick McGee in the big room. And then, of course, at first base, it's Josh Arnold.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah.
I
Behind
get
the
to be the
glass.
first base coach.
No, I think since you're behind the glass, you're up in the broadcast booth.
Oh, okay.
It's Christy Lee. And then on the Jumbotron,
Yeah.
extending the metaphor.
Yeah. Sure.
It's comedian Drew Hastings, who joins us from somewhere in the fields of Ohio. Hi, Drew. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here and I'm mostly awake. Yes.
All right.
Good to see you. Drew, formerly the mayor of Hillsboro, Ohio, a veteran of the Tonight Show, went from being a comedian to a mayor, and now is a retired mayor ex officio, whatever it is, and
Lame duck.
working on his book.
That's right. A lame duck working on a book. And speaking of mayor, I happen to be doing through my research files. I don't know if you can see this. This was a headline from a recent article. What is that? This is my state of the state address that says, attitude is the key to success.
That sounds like a Jack Freeman
Yeah, it
quote.
does.
Yeah.
Well, it does. And that was the theme to my address to the Rotary Club. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. This is an organization of guys that, they have lunch and they talk about things.
They make things rotate.
They make things rotate.
Talk about old phones.
Yeah.
Old phones. How did you know that?
They're not the keypad club or the touchpad club
No.
or the digital club.
No. They're still skimming through a Rolodex.
I see. I wish I'd do that again to get out of this right now. I miss my Rolodex.
Do you really?
Yeah, I found it not too long ago.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, make predictions, if you will. I predict that sales of both pumpkin pie and apple pie Glade air fresheners will plummet due to the fact that women are actually making these items at home now.
And men
Yeah, we were talking about this off the air because a bunch of us are
cooking a lot.
and making bread.
Right. I'm not making bread, but
There
banana
was
bread.
There was a yeast. It became very difficult to get yeast. I did check local listings,
Yes.
but
Well, women can grow their own.
Oh, jeez, Josh.
I'll direct the mail to you.
Gosh, Josh.
Drew,
When you're right, you're right.
although I know that you were a single man for many years, you now have somehow incredibly lucked out by finding a lovely,
But he fell
lovely
in
wife.
love many times.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes
Many times, as Chick knows. You have to trample through the garden of love, killing a lot of flowers before you stumble upon one that catches your interest.
And stays rooted.
Sometimes his love would last all the way down the hallway until the elevator doors shut.
I was
That's
not.
right.
I was trying to say something nice, Drew, but all those years of being single, I don't see you as being able to cook.
No, I was never able to cook. I ate out. I ate out all the time. So I don't know what I would have done at this particular time in my life. I don't know what I would have done because I can't really go out to eat. So my wife has turned into a pretty good cook, though. She's been she gets this service where they mail food to you. I don't understand it, but they mail meals to you. And then you prepare them, and then, but actually they've turned out okay. Yeah, they are.
They're great. They're called Hello Fresh. They are fantastic.
Great.
And they seem to work out.
Good.
And, so we're doing that. And other than that, we're coping. We've got the baby, as you know, is
breathing.
The baby's active.
Active.
He's active, yeah.
How old is he now?
Yeah, I would bring the baby on, but the baby's grounded for the summer.
Oh, okay. The summer. Wow.
Yeah.
But I was just saying this to somebody. How do you ground a kid anymore?
Yeah.
Hey, you can't leave the house.
Yeah, you have to take away their
Well,
iPad.
that's true.
Screen time.
Yeah, I suppose. But with a baby, there's no screen time. Now, do you have a perambulator or
A what?
A stroller. What normal people would say.
A pram.
Oh, a pram, yeah. Yes, but as we've quickly discovered, having a nice high-end stroller doesn't work well going down back county roads that are barely paved.
Yeah. You need to get a jogger.
Inflatable.
I see.
You need to get one of those joggers with the big bike tires.
Sure.
Those are great.
Well, we tried to drive up to the community state college where they've got that track and you can go around that track, but there's other people out there too. And, they're all trying to
breathe,
stare at you, don't come near me.
Let me ask you this,
They're all
Drew.
crazy.
Drew, I know you're not much of an exercise person, but
Well, as you can see, what's my T-shirt say?
the only exercise I'm getting is mood swings.
That's right.
Are you wearing sweatpants right now?
Well, I'm wearing a pair of stylish lounging pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
very
yeah,
nice.
Those are nice. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, those are nice and striped. You look like you're Mick Jagger.
Oh yeah. Well, these are the I don't know what they're called, but
Nordstrom
they're made by
Rack?
a fellow named Cremieux.
Cremieux?
Yeah, Daniel Cremieux.
I'm just fine. How are you? No,
That's right.
Are those pajama bottoms? Or that?
Those are pajama bottoms, which I wear nonstop now. I wear them for everything. I go outside. I just put on some driving shoes and these. I don't care if anything matches anymore. I just go out. What are you staring at? That kind of thing.
Yeah. Now, with the video connection here, I noticed that you look like one of those proof of life photographs. You look like a business executive from a major international corporation that's been kidnapped and not allowed to shave for several weeks.
Yes, I have 3 words to say: pay the ransom.
I see. Now I know
They're going to take it before you get mailed an ear.
You got. It's my understanding that you have auctioned off your cattle.
Yes,
And so your farm is. What's happening there? Are you planting anything?
well, there's talk of planting a for sale sign in the front yard, but we think we'll stick it out. Right now, we're lying fallow. And I've got somebody down the road who's got really high end cattle, who they want to put them out here for the summer, which I'm thinking of doing. But it's kind of weird renting out your land to somebody else with cattle. It's like. I don't know where your cattle have been. You know what I mean? It's just weird,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that
Imagine
world.
it'd be bad.
Well, let me ask you this. If somebody said, I'd like to let 3 or 4 of my small children, come over and live at your place and run around, would you be okay with that?
No, I totally do not see the connection, but we'll move right on. Okay, fallow.
Fallow.
Yeah, fallow. We're like fallow, which means I have to get out on a bush hog.
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Okay, well, it'll take your mind off.
Because I've got over 45. Let me repeat that: 45 acres. It takes days to walk that kind of land.
Sure.
yeah, you can't see it all in one day. No.
Oh no, there's no way.
Do you have any trees?
Yes, the ones that the ash borer hasn't killed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
So we have a lot of firewood, what I call standing firewood.
I see.
You have a lot of forest firewood.
That's right. But I've been out planting trees, believe it or not. Last year I planted a bunch and I mix them up. I have an elm, oak, maple, buckeye. Mix them up. That way you're not. Disease won't kill them all at once. You mix them up.
Quite the arborist, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a real arborist there, Josh. That's what I am.
Okay, well, we've learned a lot. Well, listen, Drew, we're going to let you go. How soon is the book going to be done?
Well, I'm working with my editor right now, and he's going to, in fact, in the next couple of days, going to give me some notes back on what he needs to see or not see. And
do we have a title?
No, I've had a working title. That's none of your business at this point.
That's the title? That's none of your business?
That's pretty good, yeah.
I'd keep that.
No, we've had Party of One. We've been kicking that around. So
okay,
we're working on some things.
Tom loves naming things. You know that, Drew.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Really?
Oh, yes.
The Battles of Hastings, that was the name of your podcast for a while, right?
And your TV show.
pilot,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a syndicated column I had. I had
Okay.
a-
Is that available on YouTube? I was going to ask you that. Could I see the Battle of Hastings on YouTube if I search?
yes, you can see
Yeah.
clips from that.
Right, yeah.
The sizzle reel.
Yeah, what we call the sizzle reel, Josh. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Okay. Well, Josh usually watches the Sizzler reel.
Oh, I love it, man.
Only does he
Halcyon
liked
days.
it.
Oh, the
just
Texas toast?
Yeah,
Come
people,
on.
people loading up potatoes. and-
Yeah, he likes to watch other people eat.
Yeah, I can't get enough of it. That's how fat I am. You understand?
I don't think you do. Oh, my God.
Okay, Drew. Great talking to you. Drew Hastings.
Bye,
Very
Drew.
funny.
Yeah, we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, stay well, my friend.
squeeze that baby.
Okay. And then we have in the Under Glass. It's Christy Lee Under Glass.
Yes.
Which sounds like a erotic film title from the 60s.
Behind the green glass.
Oh,
Christy Lee.
wow.
We'll explore that momentarily. We have a guest that's joining us via the magic of Zoom. We have the famous Mr. Skin on the horn. Hey, Mr. Skin, how are you, sir?
Hey, Tom. Hey, everyone. How you guys
Hi.
doing?
Good to see
You
you.
know, the funny thing about the Zoom is before we cut over to you, you're looking at yourself in the on your own screen, using it like a mirror.
Yeah, I was like, I was worried. I didn't know if I should wear a hat or what. I just woke up, so
No, you look great. You don't age at all. At all. It's like
thank you. That's very nice.
not
But
fair.
And now,
You sleep on your left side, don't you?
for those of you,
now I'm going to be checking stuff.
Oh, you look great.
for those of you that
Christy's sliding out of her chair. Be cool, man.
For those of you that are not familiar with Mr. Skin, Mr. Skin is, as I like to put it, a curator
Yeah.
of certain aspects. It began with certain aspects of cinema. First-run cinema, not specifically erotic or pornographic cinema, but
Right.
real movies. And it's now evolved into television because we live in the golden age of television is right now.
No question. When I've been talking to you guys forever, and when I launched this in 1999, MrSkin.com, I think there were 19 television shows with nudity total. And I'm talking, it could be really brief, but nothing like today. 2009, there were 29 television shows, across cable TV that had nudity. In 2019, there were 149 different television shows across about 38 platforms that featured nude scenes. So you could see it's a completely different game. And it used to be, like you said, when I started, we focused so much on movies and we got a little TV help for MrSkin.com. Now we're almost overwhelmed with all the television nudity and get a little stuff from the movies.
Oh, I
Now,
can imagine.
before we move on, before we hooked up with you, Mr. Skin, I was asking Josh, I don't know how this came up, if there was any nudity in the world of sci-fi and aliens.
We were asking about naked aliens.
Right. We talked about ancient aliens.
Ancient
and then
aliens.
nudity. And I had reminded Tom that I was in a movie called Space Babes from Outer Space that had quite a lot of
And
nudity.
I'm being told by a fan, his name is Nate, that Josh's name in the Space Babes from Outer Space is Chuck.
Chuck, okay.
That's right. Chuck.
So memorable, the actor who portrayed him can't remember.
I did not.
And your
Yeah,
best
that
friend's
was-
name.
It's funny because we did, we do the Anatomy Awards every year. And I remember when that movie came out, we're looking at it like, oh my God, this wasn't exactly a critically acclaimed film by any means. But for what we do for a living, it was awesome because there was a scene where there had to be at least 10 or 12 topless women on a stage at one time. And it won our, that year, it won most naked women in one scene for our Anatomy Award. So it is a movie that we appreciate for what we do at MrSkin.com.
Yes. Yeah.
And Mr. Skin, you have created, I understand, the top 10 sexiest shows to binge watch during quarantine.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I'm calling it Mr. Skin's Quarantine. And
Oh, nice.
Sure.
yeah, and listen, the biggest thing in the last 6 weeks, since my guys at my office, we've all been working remotely, and I get this a lot. Number one question I get is, can I have a free password? That's number one. Number two is, do you have any recommendation on shows I could watch? Because we watched Tiger King, we watched Ozark, we watched this, we watched that. And I get this all the time from friends, family at the website. We get recommendations. So we decided to put this together. But Tom, we always go above and beyond the call when we do this. And for my Quarantine A, I'm going to give you guys some recommendations, or your audience, on shows that are both active or have run their course that you could stream, that are not only critically acclaimed, really good shows, but they also feature incredible female nudity. And going above and beyond the call, my crack staff has added up every breast, butt, and babushka in those television shows, so we could give you statistics.
Okay.
Statistics to back it up. So.
Okay, now I have a question before we get to the meat of this. Why is there a plug behind your head that looks like it must be 6 feet off the ground?
Oh, I don't know. I converted this. This used to be a closet, and I converted it into a home office way back in the day. So.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Just so you know, I rarely do Zoom interviews, so now you're picking apart my office. I'm gonna have to redo this.
Yeah, you stick a clock over it. It just looks weird.
Here, I'll move over.
In the middle of the room, there's a giant plug.
The weirdest things catch his eye. It's
Sorry,
not you.
Sorry. Okay, so Mr. Skin. So these are quality television programs, but just happen to have a lot of nudity.
Oh my God, yeah. Let me start. One show is, for instance, Banshee, which aired on Cinemax for 4 seasons starting in 2013. And it's about this guy who assumes the identity of a deceased sheriff in a small town called Banshee, Pennsylvania. And as I look at our statistics that we did for this movie, there were 52 nude scenes on this show that only aired for 4 seasons. But like I said, a lot of people really liked the show, not because of the nudity, but the nudity adds another element to it. So if you're looking for a show to binge watch, we even added up, we could even tell you what your commitment is on that by telling you, how many episodes it is, the number of nude scenes. So Banshee had 52 nude scenes, 49 breast scenes, 22 butt scenes. So there you go. That's a great show if you're looking for something maybe you don't know about that is both a good show and great nudity.
What would you say is the from an artistic standpoint is the best television show of the bunch you've got here that is also featuring a lot of nudity?
Well, we threw The Sopranos in as a bonus, but obviously that's a show that got great reviews and people know. And believe it or not, there are some people that never watched it, so I can imagine that would be a fun one. But one that gets a lot of good reviews, but also coincidentally has the most nude scenes in the history of television, is Shameless. And Shameless is a Showtime series. It's run for 10 seasons, yet they have an 11th season coming. 138 nude scenes over 10 seasons, and one more to go. I just don't know. One of the things that's really interesting about some of the shows we're recommending that have more seasons to go is I don't know how there's going to definitely be a delay in when these shows come back, because you can't film movies and television right now. Right. So They said November for the 11th and final season of Shameless, but I don't know. But imagine that you binge watch Shameless and you get 138 nude scenes while you're binge watching.
We're talking with Mr. Skin from MrSkin.com. And as a side note, Mr. Skin was more or less, I guess, honored in a certain movie in which someone was going to create a website that turned out already existed. Mr. Skin, that story?
Well, it's from the movie Knocked Up, 2007, and it really was an amazing thing. It's something I could never have predicted when I launched MrSkin.com. So that movie came out on June 1st of 2007, And the summer before I got a call from Universal's lawyer saying, hey, the guy that did 40-Year-Old Virgin would like to know if he could use your website for this new movie. And I didn't really know anything other than 40-Year-Old Virgin was a cool movie. So I said, yeah, sure, you could do it. I didn't charge him money. I just said, where do I sign? But you got to understand, that movie made like $250 million that summer. It's one of those, like guys like us, Tom, like our movies are like Animal House and Stripes and Caddyshack. Well, to the younger dudes that are in their 20s or 30s, you know, Knocked Up and Superbad and that era of movies is their Caddyshack. So the way they promoted MrSkin.com in Knocked Up, you know, and I've joked about this before, but it was just as good as Reese's Pieces and E.T. It was a really great way to be promoted in a movie, and it was something, you know, it just happened. I didn't try it; it just happened, but it was really awesome.
And I'm sure you saw results from that. I mean, did your numbers go through?
Well, that in 2007, our traffic, which we were getting millions of people a month anyway, it went up 25%. So you can imagine how many more people, because that movie came out on June 1st of 2007. So in Q3 and Q4, we killed it traffic-wise that year. But the other cool thing about Knocked Up is that movie airs like, it's still airing on cable television all the time and all these different channels. So it's like free publicity every time that movie airs.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, Mr. Skin, on your list, Westworld, Banshee, Altered Carbon, Easy. You mentioned Shameless. Game of Thrones, of course, is on there.
Yeah, you got to have Game of Thrones on there.
Once again, these are high-quality programs with a great deal of nudity. Californication, Sex Education, and Weeds on Showtime. But my question is, most famous actresses featured in anyone on that list?
Most famous? Good question. You know, I got to tell you that in Game of Thrones, so many people watch that show. And you want to talk about an actress that went from nowhere to superstardom, was that Emilia Clarke, who played the Mother of Dragons. And in the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, I contend her nude scene in the very first episode of the very first season got people hooked on that show immediately, and it became probably one of the biggest television shows of all time. So as far as people watching, I'd say Emilia Clarke and Game of Thrones would be my pick on this list for most famous actress that got naked.
Okay.
Wow.
Amelia Bedelia? No. Okay. Mr. Skin, it's always a pleasure. I'm sure you miss baseball.
Yeah, I really do. But what are you going to do? We'll wait this out, and we'll try to do everything we can at MrSkin.com to entertain people while we're waiting through this. So.
We'll check it out and find out what's going on there. MrSkin.com. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Watch the entire show live or on demand with the Bob and Tom VIP All Access Pass. Listen live with the Bob and Tom app and make sure to visit bobandtomstore.com. Tune in next time for more Bob and Tom Tonight.